Hello, my name is Phoebe Stein and I'm president of the Federation of State Humanities Councils. Welcome to the 39th Annual Schwartz Prize Awards presentation. We are so glad you've joined us here as we celebrate the outstanding public humanities work being conducted across the nation by our state and jurisdictional humanities councils. To say that the last couple of years have been challenging would of course be an understatement, but our nation's humanities councils have stepped up to explore questions raised in their communities, to bring people together, and to tackle necessary conversations to create a more equitable, inclusive, and sustainable future. That is the power of the humanities, and that is what we're celebrating today. In 1982, the Schwartz Prize was founded through an endowment by Federation board member Martin Schwartz and his wife Helen to honor and recognize the innovative and meaningful humanities work our members are doing throughout the country. This year, I'm very pleased to welcome and introduce Donna Spears, who is a Federation board member and director of outreach and programming and founding member of the Ogmount Educational Initiative, and she is our 2021 Schwartz Prize presenter. Welcome, Adonis.
Thank you. Welcome everyone. Thank you, Phoebe. And I'd like to echo Phoebe's welcome and thank you all for attending tonight. The nominees this year are a reflection of the issues and events of 2020. From programs that connect people despite a pandemic across generations, borders, and beliefs, to those that use compassion, empathy, and action to spur conversations and lift the voice of those systemically oppressed and historically silenced, to those that used creativity and innovation to bring the humanities home and support cultural organizations. Those humanities home and support cultural organizations through their states when funding, programs, and support were jeopardized. These programs reflect the role the humanities can play and are playing in our recovery. This year, we received 8 nominations to the Schwartz Prize. But before the nominees tell you about their programs, I wanted to take a moment to thank the 2021 Schwartz Prize judges. Christopher Kaufman-Ilstrup, Executive Director of Vermont Humanities, Dr. Daniel Gello, former Dean of the University of Texas San Antonio's College of Liberal and Fine Arts, distinguished anthropologist and Humanities Texas board member, and Lucena Lauvalle, Program Officer at California Humanities. Thank you for your thoughtful review and selection of the 2021 Schwartz Prize winners. Now, please listen as the nominees share about their programs.
Humanities New York nominates Amended, a documentary-style podcast and conversation series. We developed Amended to commemorate the centennial of the 19th Amendment, which banned voter discrimination on the basis of sex. Amended travels from the 1800s through to the present day to show us a quest for women's equality that has always been as diverse, complex, and unfinished as the nation itself. The host, Laura Free, is a historian of women in politics. She is joined by other groundbreaking scholars whose work broadens our understanding of the struggle for equal voting rights. Through vivid storytelling, they highlight women who fought injustice based on race, class, and citizenship status, in addition to advocating for the rights of their sex. History buffs, podcast listeners, and scholars have all responded with enthusiasm to Amended. Since launching in August 2020, Amended has been downloaded more than 40,000 times and has reached another 40,000 New Yorkers via radio broadcast. We hope that Amended will continue to inspire conversations about women's history, voting rights, and democracy for years to come. Thank you for your consideration.
Georgia Humanities is pleased to nominate Common Good Atlanta for the 2021 Schwartz Prize. Common Good Atlanta teaches accredited college-level courses to people in prison, as well as those who are formerly incarcerated through the efforts of volunteer faculty scholars. Common Good Atlanta has served our state for 12 years, and they have impacted the lives of more than 400 students. During the pandemic, Common Good Atlanta used old technology, packets. Professors wrote up their courses, students responded in writing, and those came back to the professors and provided feedback to develop the students as scholars themselves. And it's for these reasons and more that Georgia Humanities is honored to nominate Common Good Atlanta for this important award.
The Alaska Humanities Forum is proud to nominate its Conversations Across Generations program for the 2021 Helen and Martin Schwartz Prize for the Public Humanities Programs. In the wake of George Floyd's murder and in the midst of a pandemic, the Alaska Humanities Forum developed Conversations Across Generations, or CXG, to continue conversations about racial equity here in Alaska. The program uses a guiding question, what does racial equity demand of us, and a cohort model to bring together folks across racial, generational, and socioeconomic identities. We are nominating this program because of the example it provides for showcasing a variety of voices through new partnerships, creating space in virtual settings in the time of COVID through collaboration and creativity, and the positive impact that has been felt by participants. Following the completion of the first 2 CXG cohorts, 100% of participants agreed or strongly agreed that they felt more connected to other participants, and one participant even said, "I appreciate the diversity of the group and the shared interest in equity. I love how hopeful I feel after meeting with everyone because too often speaking up for equity feels like losing a battle with the status quo."
Oregon Humanities nominates Dear Stranger, a letter exchange project that has connected people across Oregon and beyond through the mail since 2014. When someone writes a letter to Dear Stranger, they are paired with another writer living in another place. You write a letter, you get a letter, and you make a new connection. In 2020, as the pandemic forced many people into isolation, Dear Stranger saw greater participation than ever before. Writers from 29 states, plus Belgium and Italy, shared their fears, hopes, frustrations, and sources of joy. In a year when most of our programming had to be canceled or dramatically changed, Dear Stranger enabled us to keep connecting people across difference and distance.
I'm Jennifer Tonko.
And I'm Rose McGee. We're both humanities officers with the Minnesota Humanities Center.
After the horrific murder of Mr. George Floyd in Minneapolis, we couldn't just sit back and not respond. In doing so, our project that's being nominated, How Can We Breathe, evolved. It lifted up Black community voices during the subsequent uprisings and protests here in Minnesota.
How Can We Breathe was designed and implemented in a partnership between Minnesota Humanities Center and Sweet Potato Comfort Pie, a Minnesota nonprofit who advances racial justice and equity through the gifting of sweet potato pies, the sacred dessert of Black culture.
A series of 4 virtual community conversations had 3 parts: story circles and cameos that centered Black voices, facilitated reflection circles where participants responded, and the gifting of sweet potato comfort pies.
With each event, we worked with 10 organizations to distribute 50 pies to community members in 5 host cities across the state.
Besides the primary intent of amplifying Black voices and providing a place for our publics to reflect and respond, additional impacts have been to build relationships with future organizational partners,
and to continue connecting participants with opportunities for taking action in making changes needed for a more just and equitable society. How can we breathe?
Nevada Humanities is proud to nominate our program, Humanities Heart to Heart, a series of essays and multimedia reflecting on life during COVID-19 for the 2021 Schwartz Prize. During this time when all areas of life have been universally disrupted and we could no longer safely gather together in person, we envisioned a program that would still connect people across our state and let Nevadans know that they are not alone. Humanities Heart to Heart was launched in July 2020, and it's been ongoing throughout the duration of the pandemic. Reflections ranging from written essays to poems to original artwork are shared on our website and social media platforms. It's been important to us that we feature a wide range of voices, giving everyone an equal platform and opportunity with which to share their experience. We have shed light on the experience of casino workers out of work, what it's like to live on a rural ranch during lockdown, and more. Our program is a much-needed forum in our state for people to share these deeply personal heart-to-hearts, and we're proud to continue supporting our communities to give us all courage to move forward together.
Illinois Humanities nominates On Wisdom and Vision, humanities organizations in Illinois during COVID-19. A report detailing and contextualizing COVID's impact on public humanities organizations from across Illinois. In 2020, just like our sister humanities councils across the country, Illinois Humanities quickly mobilized to support our sector as the pandemic destabilized organizations across our state. Thanks to the National Endowment for the Humanities, our COVID-19 relief grants distributed more than $700,000 to 177 Illinois-based community organizations. The report used grantee interviews to learn that organizations revealed that even though they faced millions collectively in lost revenues and over 1 million fewer visitor engagements than they had planned on pre-COVID-19, these places kept their doors open. They documented the pandemic's impact on their communities. They supported work addressing racial inequity. They responded to diverse communities in ways that they previously had not. Report analysis also revealed that many grantee partners are operating in areas in which households were struggling to make ends meet even before the pandemic, but also in which COVID-19 has had a devastating and disproportionate impact. Most of all, this report surfaced the fact that grantees, especially those located outside of Chicago, were often bypassed by other funding streams due to their size, organizational capacity, or geographic location. On Wisdom and Vision paints a picture of the humanities ecosystem in Illinois, on the ways in which humanities organizations help build cohesion, mitigate isolation, enable community well-being. Most of all, it gives community leaders an opportunity to consider the ways in which humanities organizations can and must help equip Illinois to forge a better future for us all.
The Louisiana Endowment for the Humanities proudly nominates Bringing the Humanities Home for the 2021 Schwartz Prize. Based on our humanities-focused reading and discussion program, Primetime Family Reading, Bringing the Humanities Home allowed us to maintain our public-facing presence during pandemic times through both digital and analog offerings, developed and implemented in partnership with the very Louisiana families they reached. In addition to over 40 virtual Primetime Family Reading programs, we delivered more than 800 Spark Boxes directly to families' homes. Spark Boxes contained children's books focused on the themes that arise during times of crisis, and a discussion guide that allowed families to talk about those themes safely. Just as Spark Boxes arrived, our podcast, Little Voices, Big Ideas, hit the airwaves. Each episode featured the voices of scholars and families alike and took on the humanities themes found in children's books and how and why to bring those big ideas home. All of this because the Louisiana Endowment for the Humanities believes the humanities belong in every home. And as we celebrate 30 years of Primetime, we're proud that this project made that belief visible when it was needed, perhaps more than ever.
Now, as the slide suggests, without further ado, let me introduce you to our 2021 Schwartz Prize winners. This year, the judges elected to award 2 prizes. The first prize goes to a program that judges said promotes creative activity across several media and that embraces a wide variety of participants, filling in for a lack of in-person programming. Adding that participants in this program were able to participate in the storytelling work about the complexity of living in these times. Judges noted the good range of humanities content from scholarly articles on history and architecture to personal narratives, and the council's worthy intentions of curating reflections. In addition, the judges were impressed with this council's innovative use of Instagram that yielded in more than 47,000 views, as well as the interesting outgrowths of the program, such as collaborations with Desert Research Institute, Renown Health, and partnerships with the state, NEH, private donors, and foundations. One judge particularly noted the egalitarian nature of this program. The second prize goes to a program that judges said demonstrated the unique collaborations that bring with community partners, that also represented an important investment model to serve the targeted communities. A judge noted that the project was timely, community-centered, rooted deep in the humanities, and offered a wrap-around approach that cultivated different segments of communities impacted. And that the organizers saw themselves as first responders to the dual crises of COVID and racism unfolding in their city. Judges noted that the nomination did a great job of illustrating impact in concrete ways, and noted that the program used food and comfort to help connect communities for important conversations on racism and healing, to help thousands of grieving citizens, and help provide brave spaces for vital conversations about America's original sin. The Federation of State Humanities Councils is proud to present the 2021 Schwartz Prizes to Nevada Humanities and Minnesota Humanities Center for their 2020 programs, Humanities Heart to Heart and How Can We Breathe? Congratulations to the winners, and thank you all for attending the 39th Annual Schwartz Prize Awards presentation.
I want to add my congratulations to Nevada Humanities and Minnesota Humanities Center. I know this is a very hard decision for our judges this year. So congratulations to all of this outstanding work, and thank you for your nominations. So we are going to close out our Schwartz Prize presentation now, and we are going to turn to introduce next year's conference. I'm going to introduce Julie Fry, who's the president and CEO of California Humanities, to tell you more about our in-person 2022 National Humanities Conference in Los Angeles, California. Welcome, Julie.
Thank you, Phoebe. Hi, everybody. Firstly, I want to offer my congratulations to the winners of the Schwartz Prize. Really wonderful work that you're doing, but actually I want to congratulate all of the nominees. Your work is quite amazing and inspiring. So we've come to the end of this year's conference, and you know what that means, that we're moving forward to NHC 22, when we will hopefully, no, definitely be together in person in Los Angeles. And so while we would really like to be feeding you tacos in Detroit right now, what we did instead was make a short 6-minute film to inspire you and to move you. It includes a bit of poetry from LA's former poet laureate, Luis Rodriguez, which is thrilling to us. And it's narrated by actor and Grammy winner Tia Carrera. She was born in Hawaii but lives in LA. And we thought that she would be a really wonderful bridge between the 2019 conference in Hawaii and the last time we were together, of course, and the 2022 conference. So we hope to see you there in the City of Angels. And in the meantime, on with the show.
In the Chumash creation myth, Mother Earth created a rainbow bridge that connected the Channel Islands to the mainland. She led her people above and across the Pacific Ocean to the Golden Coast. Imagine this movement of a community over water and onto dry land into Southern California. This is but one story of this place and its culture, layered like rock sediment and displaced by those who came after. A Tongva Indian village becomes a neighborhood for families. It's called Chavez Ravine. 352 acres of this land is eventually taken to build Dodger Stadium. It's an all too familiar story. The Spaniards claimed Los Angeles as their own and christened it El Pueblo de Nuestra Señora Reina de Los Angeles. Watch it become Mexican territory, and then in 1850, part of the United States. Here, nothing is fixed. As this place changed and expanded, even the water was displaced. Infamous civil engineer William Mulholland made sure the growing city was hydrated and sated by water that was carried from the mountains to the Cascades and Sylmar, a journey through an aqueduct that stretched over 200 miles, an ancient need coupled with the marvels of technology. And not long after came its colossal storm drain sibling, the Los Angeles River, leading us out to the ocean. Bodies in motion will stay in motion. Do you feel that? The ferocious whoosh of the Santa Anas, winds that bite off palm fronds and spit them across Sunset Boulevard, that infamous desert phenomenon. Inspiring everyone from Raymond Chandler to Joan Didion to Walter Mosley and Steph Cha to put Los Angeles on paper. Not that it's easy to capture this city. Los Angeles, L.A., La La Land, Tinseltown. Did you know that this city of motion pictures started out as a city on the run? In the 1900s, studios bought LA land because it was cheap and because they could escape the patents of Thomas Edison, who was way back east in West Orange, New Jersey. We move the world with our stories, our close-ups, our wide shots, trombones, and drones. After all, Union Station can be dressed to look like an old bank in, well, New Jersey. But as former LA poet laureate Luis Rodriguez writes, to truly love LA, you have to see it with different eyes. Askew, perhaps, beyond the fantasy-induced Hollywood spectacles. This is a city of trailblazers and innovators, activists and advocates, at the edge of the nation and at the cutting edge of thought. Los Angeles fosters independence and lets ideas flourish. Our nearly 4 million residents move across 500 square miles of city every day, caught in a cat's cradle of freeway or riding down wide boulevards. Wilshire, Pico, La Cienega, La Brea. Incant them like a prayer. Feel the force that is this city. Let yourself be pulled into its flow. So many people and ideas shuttling by, interacting, exchanging information and inspiration. It's no wonder LA is home to more museums per capita than any other city in the world. A public library serving the largest population and more than 230 colleges and universities. Perhaps all it takes to see this city properly is to taste it, to try our food. Los Angelinos hail from 140 nations, and we speak 224 languages. And our diverse culture means our food is as varied and unique as our residents. Our neighborhoods reflect this vibrant array of people. Each has its own gems to discover. The Art Deco Vision Theater at Lemert Park is alive with performances and the rhythms of a drum circle. Outside the busy shops in Chinatown, red paper lanterns hang from pagoda-inspired architecture. LA is home to the only officially recognized Thai town in the United States. In Boyle Heights, musicians dressed to the nines in embroidered three-piece suits sing their hearts out in Mariachi Plaza. You never know what you might find in LA. Feel that? A cool breeze whispering in from the ocean as the sun begins to set. Suddenly, it feels like jacket weather. You might think that LA has no seasons, when in fact, on some days we have 4 in a single 24-hour period. At dusk, the 4,000 acres of Griffith Park make you feel like you've left the city. The historic merry-go-round from 1926 inspired Walt Disney to create the happiest place on earth. And when night falls, the observatory reveals the stars above, or better yet, the neighborhoods below, spread out for miles. LA is its own galaxy of lights. Speaking of lights, a century ago, The Hollywood sign was lit up by 4,000 light bulbs, switched on and off by a man who lived in a nearby cabin. The city is famous for the images it creates, but it's the people who live here and the humanities, art, culture, and community they foster that make this city buzz. To be in LA is to join this current, to feed off this playful, delightful, and eclectic energy. Feel that? It's LA you're feeling. Move through the city and be moved by it.
Please join me in thanking Julie so much and her entire staff for, if that's just the trailer, if that's just the sizzle reel, we are going to have an incredible, incredible time in California, in Los Angeles. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I just want to say that, of course, that's a wrap for the National Humanities Conference 2021. Thank you so much. I am ready for Los Angeles, and I hope you all are too. I want to thank our partners again, the National Humanities Alliance. I want to have a huge round of applause also for Federation staff. And you can hear this, it's only one hand clapping, but one set of hands clapping. But I want to thank, we truly wouldn't be here today without the Federation staff and board. Special thank you to Edward Moreno and Shannon Loberg for their work on this conference. And just as a reminder, if you're attending the annual business meeting, that is tomorrow. So you should have your links and we'll see you there. And if not, we'll be in touch throughout the year. I also want to say a big thank you to Indana Spears for being our MC this evening, and also to Julie. We're so excited to be in LA next year. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and good evening.